Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laugh so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. It was
Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. It is almost 2 p.m. Central European Time here. I am a tiny bit early today, but it's a couple of minutes. Hopefully, we do have audio. Yeah, we do have audio for the first time, apparently. Last time I went live, my audio decided to fail on me. So I just had to double check that I actually did have audio. But yeah, it is 1:58 p.m. Central European Time. I know it is early morning in the US. And good morning, Diane. It is wonderful to have you around, even though if you're just lurking. I am actually just gonna work on some straps to finish up this summer shopper bag because that is basically the only thing I am missing. I have the chains and I'm working the single crochets around the straps. Had to change yarn. So once I've worked around this round where I had the first single crochets into the chain, I need to do another 4 rounds of single crochets. So it is a bit, I guess you could say, boring, but once done, it's done. What I like about this design the most is definitely the bottom. I think it is absolutely gorgeous with this star thing. Cute. Good morning, Suzanne. Wonderful to have you with us. Let's see. I had just changed yarn and gotten around to starting doing a bunch of single crochets. So what I will do, of course, is I will flip this camera around for us to, well, I guess for you to follow a bit what I'm doing. Amanda says hello from the sun. Apparently, I believe she's in the bikini because she says from a spot in the sun, bikini and yarn in my hands. That sounds nice. The sun is also shining here. I could almost jump in the bikini and jump outside, but if I do that, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to be live. And I actually don't have a bikini. I do have a bathing suit, swimsuit. Slightly dangerous. Mini me is spraying water all over. I guess you guys are enjoying. There is finally some good weather with a nice temperature coming to the middle towards northern part of Sweden, at least north from Stockholm, right? So, so hopefully, it's good weather there. It is wonderful weather here. We should actually be able to do this weather command because I see Nightbot has popped into the house. I am heading to Denmark on Friday and not Friday, sorry, on Wednesday, and I saw that already from I think Thursday or Friday it's gonna be wet, so that's not cool. The weather here where I am is 7 degrees Fahrenheit or 21 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from northeast and it is sunny. And I totally agree, it's sunny outside. I do not see many clouds. It's pretty much cloud free. In Enköping in Sweden, it is 67 degrees Fahrenheit or 19 degrees Celsius. Wind is blowing from north-northwest at 8 miles per hour. I would say we both have awesome weather. Definitely. Definitely both have awesome weather here. Absolutely. I am not even jealous. I think it's pretty much similar. It's a little bit more wind still here. 2 degrees more, but you know, let's just enjoy the weather when it's here, right? Let's enjoy. Definitely. It doesn't last too long. But it has been going on for quite a bit. Let's see if I can get my dual camera view up running. No wind, Amanda says, at least at her location. That's nice. Or if you're at a place where it's a bit shadowed for wind, that's also cool. Let's see if we can do this. And then we are heading down, down, down to the working location here. So please let me know if you don't see it all. I have my yarn spindle with a new skein of yarn. I literally just changed the yarn. I did that maybe half an hour before coming on here. I felt a bit more prepared instead of like starting by needing to change yarn. I decided to do that. I still need to weave in ends, but most importantly, it's changed and I'm ready to the new skein. I think I should have more than enough on this skein, but I do have an extra just in case. And I do apologize you for a second. And then it is basically just single crochets. So it is not a big thing. And you may wonder why I am in long sleeves here in this temperature, but honestly I am indoor and I tend to, I guess, need it warmer before, like if I would go and sit outdoors in the sun, I would not wear the shirt, but in here it's kind of different. I like have it warm, I guess. I'm cold-blooded. I need heat to get active. And then when it's too warm, I'm deactivating again. I used to believe that I was a cold-blooded animal. You know, that like reptiles need to soak up sun before they get active. I felt like that when I was younger. I still sometimes do, actually. I know, like in the spring and the autumn, when it's still too cold to actually go outside, sometimes it's just so nice to be able to sit in the window where you can feel the sun comes in and just, you know, sit and soak it up. And what I'd love the most is actually a dream, so to say, of having this covered terrace. Like we have like yeah, it's like a balcony like thing, but it's not a balcony. It's just basically tiles. Yeah, it's a terrace. I would love that for being covered. Um, but that costs money. So many things cost money. Yeah, like life costs money to breathe and live. And if you haven't done it yet, I do hope you grab some drinks also to hang around with here in this crafty modus. Because this is the only time this week that I'll be live, because on Wednesday I'll be traveling. And next week I am also traveling on the Wednesday, so I won't be live next week either. But after Ascension Day or Ascension Weekend, I'll be live, and I should be live Monday and Wednesday if everything goes right. Um, yeah. So I hope for us to be able to finish this summer shopper bag today. I have the link to the pattern in the description box down below. I can imagine for the Americans, if you don't have access to the dropshan, I think it will work up absolutely nicely in something along peaches and cream or sugar and cream, lily sugar and cream or something like that type cotton. How was that pattern seen? Any confusing sections? This pattern, you mean, for the summer sunshine shopper? I think it's pretty okay. It's not. It's for a drops pattern. It's been quite kind to me. On that note, I need to start on a new drops project, right? Because I still actually don't, after this, have anything directly ongoing. But I think that is probably first going to be in June. Because quite a few things is happening. So I'm traveling. I'll be a week in Denmark, and then I'm home. But I need to make sure I have enough work done because Pentecost weekend I'm also away. So yeah, there's quite a few things going on, and I still need to get my work done because I'm trying to save on my vacation days. I don't like using them all in one go if I don't have to. So I'm trying to save them a little bit, if that makes sense. So the only thing that I'm not a big fan of on this is this, when we have to do the single crochets into the chain here. Because, and that's probably because I'm a tight crocheter, it feels a bit fiddly because it's like 75 chains. So I need to fiddle 75 stitches where I like grab them one by one. Normally I'd work in the back loop, but I can't do that because this is, it's a chain added onto the rest. I've only made the popular market bag by Stephanie Said. I have been wondering if I should try some other market bag patterns. And I'd probably be keen on doing so. So maybe she has one I should try out. I do recall I've heard her name before. So I do believe she has a YouTube tutorial on it, if I'm not wrong. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so this is basically why I hate this, because, it is a one by one and it's fiddly, fiddly, fiddly getting all the stitches here. So this is slow and tedious. And I had actually hoped to finish this section last night. Oh, come on, please be kind to me like that. I had hoped to finish it up last night, but I ended up finishing a series we're watching on Netflix with my partner. And that was a really good one. The leafy petal look on the bottom. Yes, so this is the reason I wanted to make it as well. This, definitely. That is what sold me, if that makes sense. That is why I said, okay, I'm making this one. But the series, so we were watching a good Netflix series, and I think you can also watch it on the US English, etc. But it's actually a Swedish series. So Amanda, if you're listening to me, we finished the series A Glasskopan. And I think is it Sarah? No, Camilla Läckberg that wrote it, the book of it. But we finished actually watching that one last night, and I have to say, I really enjoyed it. It was really nicely made, so I can recommend for anyone wanting a good creamy series. I warmly recommend. Susan says I've used a 4-weight cut, not very fiddly with thicker yarn. Yeah, this is like, I think it's probably also like a 4-weight ish, maybe. It's 8 threads that's spun together, and it's pretty close to Lily's Sugar and Cream thickness wise. They come reasonably close. The glass dome, it's called in English. But yeah, it's on Netflix. Quite good, actually. Can warmly recommend if you need a good crimmy. It's a 6-episode series, 45 minutes each. I'm just sharing the link to the Internet Movie Database in the chat for those that's maybe wanting to give it a look. So we finished watching that last night. And we actually finished that a bit later than, because in the beginning it wasn't the plan to finish last night. We'll probably have done that tonight or Tuesday maybe. But then it was so exciting, and like we were so curious on the finish, and me and my partner looked at one another and we're like, yeah, you know, it will probably fit with our normal bedtime if we take one more. And then I just didn't have enough time to crochet, because I definitely were not in the mood to sit and fiddle this while watching a super interesting creamy series on Netflix. So we had a good time with one another, and we had a really good watch of this, which is the Glass Dome or Glaskupan, and it's probably not the best Swedish, but if that's the case, I'm sure Amanda will tell me. So yeah, we enjoyed that, but that means that I'm still fiddling around here, and we have 75 single crochets that I need to work into the chain space of, and that is not meant for my patience, but we are doing it. We are doing it. But yeah, so that's why I say I think I do think the Lily Sugar and Cream comes pretty close. We have the yarn specs here, and they say, actually I see I'm quite lighted up, so I need to fix the light on this. I'm sorry, I'll just go really light and then we'll go back dark. Oh, maybe that went too much. Need to do it again. Like that. That was better. It recommends 5mm crochet hook, so the pattern is a 4mm. 50 grams, 1.75 ounces to 75 meters or 82 yards. And it's the recycled denim actually, so it's like recycled jeans that we're making this of, which I really like the idea of being able to reuse things, right? It should be friendly for the environment, I would say. And here it's just so important that, I guess the thing is that I make the chains too tight. Like if I wouldn't make the chain so tight, then it will go so much more smooth. But once I'm done with this round, everything else from here on and out is gonna be easy sailing. Let's see. But that's okay. It's just me needing to accept the fact that I should try to lose my chains a bit. Or I should have chained maybe with a bigger hook. That could have solved the issue as well. Oh well, it's what it is. But we should still finish this one today, because once I'm done with it, it's 4 rounds of single crochets. And as I said, you know, adding this first round is the tedious part, because I need to make sure I get the stitches correct. Come on, like that. So once that's done, then going into these stitches is easy. Easy peasy. Do you have any other things? Like, are you working on something exciting today, or are you just hanging out to hear me ramble along? Which is absolutely fine if that's your goal and intention. My mom were this morning getting some blood tests done. They need to make sure the numbers are good for her treatment tomorrow. And she told me that she got some different supporting socks on that she can actually now fit her home shoes again, which is a really good sign because that means that she has a bit less moisture um, in her body. It's withhold less, which is a really good thing because she's been really like everything has been extremely, what do you call it, set out due to extra excess liquid in her body. So that's a good sign, and I'm really looking forward to see my parents Wednesday. But I'm also quite aware that it's going to be a rough week. I will have to do some packing later today. Prepare some packing. Part of this is due to the need of need to make sure that everything is all right and so on. But also I have some appointments tomorrow, and I also need to do my work tomorrow. So yeah, I just try to not pack in the very last minute, and I have to get up really early Wednesday because it's like 1 hour and 25 minutes drive to the airport, and once I'm finally at the airport, I get to wait there because my partner needs to, like, my flight is first at 10, but he needs to drive back so he can be at work on time. And therefore, I need to wait in the airport for probably like 2.5, 3 hours before being able to board the flight, which is okay. I've done that before in the past. And this time around, I have my work PC with me, and I'll hook it up to my phone, and I will work. Literally, I'll find a place to sit, I'll buy a cup of tea, and I'll work until I get to board. Susan says she's working on the spring triangle shawl hooked by Robin in golds and browns. They are Hirschner's mill ends and a cotton cake. Nice. Nice. I don't think I'd known the spring triangle shawl. So there is something to look there as well. I do need to find some shawl patterns for future shawls. I do also have some that I've written down, as in I want to make those. And the reason is simply that I have so many cake yarns, right? So I just need to get some shawls done. I do want to make some shawls, and I can easily do it. So it's just about sitting down and getting it done. Let's see. But that's with quite a few things. So it would be good to get some shawls done because that also really gets some yarn from my stash used, right? But on the other hand, the same does this. It just takes forever. I had the feeling when I was making the amigurumi chicken for my padiversary that it also took forever to finish. And that was because it was such a small hook compared to the size of the yarn. Susan says she's doing easy patterns to use up yarns. Yeah, I have some of those too. But at the same time, I do like to try something new. I'm looking forward for the hat that you got, the bank hat pattern you sent me. But I will first work on that when I am in Denmark. It would be kind of cool if I could finish it when I'm there. So that's a plan so far, that I'll bring it with me there. And I may need to consider different knitting needles, but it's on the considering phase. I hope it's a great project for travel. I'll be there when I start, and I hope I have it finished before traveling home. How it works up with everything else, I'll see, because I do bring a couple of. So it's mainly hat projects I'm bringing with me to Denmark this time around, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. Last time, I think it was also mainly hats. But it's kind of okay in the sense of I need something simple when I'm there. Something simple from the way. We talked so much this year about wanting to go on a road trip for vacation, me and my partner. And yeah, we are road tripping to Denmark, but it's not. And while we both have days of work, it's not going to be vacation. I'm quite sure. But we wanted to actually go to Croatia, and we can drive there, so we could drive there. But the real question is if it's going to happen this year, because let's put it like this: when we started about talking about going to Croatia this year, that was before my mom became sick, and I may want to wait going. Kind of depends on how she feels. So it's gonna be, if we do go this year, it's gonna be like last minute planning, I'm afraid. But yeah, let's see. We're like what, halfway through this? Feels like it's forever. But yeah, so it's probably, if we do, it's gonna be like last minute and booking as we go, and just using like Booking or Expedia to get hotels on the way and so on. That is my current thought of it. But I'm really in the mood to travel somewhere and just do vacation. I feel I'm short of vacation. It's been a while, but at the same time, was similar when we went to New Zealand. We hadn't been on a real vacation for like 2 years, mainly because of COVID, and then I guess that gave us the opportunity to save up for everything for New Zealand as well, and that was quite an expensive travel, but it was in so many aspects the travel of my lifetime. Like I'll be happy to go back anytime. Do, do. I cannot wait until my single crochet in this chain is complete. Next time I will, like in this case, if I'll have a similar project and I have a hook that's like half a size larger, I'll do the chain with that larger hook, because that is going to be so much nicer for chaining into, or the single crocheting into the chain, especially if it's like this. It could also just be that a lot of people only work into the one loop when they do this, where I work into both loops. This is wrong. It splits Just a moment. Yarn split, that's better. Where I work into, I take both loops with, just like if you would normal stitch. And I don't know if it's just me making it more difficult for myself. You let me know. What do you do? If you work chain stitch, single crochets, double crochets, whatever, if you work into a chain and you cannot option to work into the back loop of the chain, which is what I normally would have done, what would you do? Do you then take both loops on, or you just say, okay, whatever, I'll still work into one loop? It doesn't matter. Like, what is your go-to in this? I'm quite curious. And if you're rewatching this live, feel free to let me know. I'll be happy to know. No, I'm exactly. So, I'm just curious. And I did also make tea for today, even though you just seen me with my lemonade. I made my Dream Flight tea, which is a loose tea blend. Right here. Oh no, that's not Dream Flight. I took the wrong one. But I know I made the Dream Flight tea, but this is not the Dream Flight tea. Funny. But it's the same concept. This is Nymex Tots. It's also loose tea blend that I really enjoy drinking quite a bit. Susan says I try to do both loops except when I'm working in the back single loop. Makes good sense. Makes good sense. Okay, you make me feel better. Thank you. I'm not crazy. It does feel a bit like it because this is so tedious. But I think it's because, as I said, I'm a tight crocheter, so this goes pretty tedious. But look, we're almost there. Which means then it can go fast. And then it's just 4 rounds of single crochet almost. And then this one is done. That is kind of nice. That was also partially my goal for, I said Friday during the yarn talk video that the plans were to see if I could finish this Sunshine Shopper bag before my next yarn talk video, which I've definitely done if I finish this one today. Because my next yarn talk video is in like a week and a half from now, because on Friday I'll take you guys with me to a local store, or some local stores. Actually, I'd take you with me to the shopping mall, because on Friday I'm not home, and therefore it's a bit difficult for me to do my regular yarn talk videos. And thus I found something else for you guys to watch. Don't you think I'm nice? So we're gonna have a look at some stores, and yeah, it happened to work out nicely that I had the opportunity to go, and I decided, well, now when I'm here, why not get some content for you guys? Go look a bit at yarns. Not that it's a lot, but still it's a bit. And I'd still try to plan for one day if I go to the office for work, then I'll see if I can maybe find a yarn store in Amsterdam, like a real yarn store, not just these value stores, that we could go and visit together, because that could be kinda nice to see what they have. They have one in particular that I want to say hello to, but before doing that, because they carry one of the yarns that I have in my stash, and I want to make sure I actually enjoy knitting or crocheting with it before getting more. But it could be an option to get some more when being there, if that makes any remote sense. And that would be a perfect, opportunity to actually grab some skeins there if I do enjoy work with that yarn. So I guess there's a goal for when I get home. Let's see, we are just one stitch left. Awesome. Oh my sweet jolly pea. Now we can get moving. Look how much I just suddenly speed up because we're done with that chain. And it was the last chain. So I'm expecting everything from here on is going smooth sailing. That would be nice. Oh, I did bring my post-it because I am going to, what's it called? Put lines every time I've done a round. I need to do 4 rounds when I'm completed this one. And then we're finished. And while I could theoretically just count them, it's just nice if I put a line, it's kind of easier. Then I need to count less. Or one could get a row counter, I guess, but I just like to put lines on a piece of paper. And here we go. That was this round complete, and now it's about to do 4 more rounds, and we are done. Ta-ta! We slip stitch, and then we make a single crochet, and I place my stitch marker just for helping me keeping track. That is, if I could actually see what I'm doing, like this. Hey, Michael! Hello, 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 and good morning. I saw you were really early up, but I was working when you were live, else I had popped in. Oh, well, actually, I sort of popped in, but I didn't say anything. I just like popped in for 2 minutes, and then I had to continue work. But I very much appreciate your love and your thummy. So appreciated. I hope you are going to have a great day. And meanwhile, I can dream on the Tunisian crochet, which I do want to do one day. It's just too many other things popping in, taking my attention right now. Michael says, don't worry, sweetie. I don't sleep a lot and I try to go live for those that don't live in the States. Yeah. That's the thing. I can't really do US evenings. I'll be wrecked. But in July, I thought that I was going to have an event, but the Federation totally changed. That is, the Dutch Shooting Federation changed the qualification road to the Dutch Championships. And that means that I can't compete this year because, well, they decided to change it last minute, which I just think is totally not okay. But at the same time, there's so many things going on in my life right now with the travels and my parents and everything that I'm like, oh, it's not so important for me, so it's okay. That's the only reason I'm not bothering further. But that weekend I'll be home alone, so I'll probably just pop live and be social with you guys. That would be a really good reason, I would say. My goodness. So far, this goes nice and easy, doesn't it? Single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. Da, 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 da. Even this, and this is like, you know, the second row after you have done it into the chain, and it goes so much smoother already. And once it's done, we can continue on the PuErhTea Shawl. We worked on that last week, Wednesday during this live or the weekly live. Dun, dun, dun. So I just need to make sure when I'm sitting here that I pay attention to the fact that yarn doesn't split on me, because it's not super tightly bound together. But so far it works. And while I think it's absolutely awesome to have this recycled denim yarn, I'm not sure, like, I don't think it's yarn that I would want to make a top in, to be honest. You can feel it's a recycled yarn in that sense, where their regular drops Paris yarn cotton yarns are absolutely gorgeous in comparison. Do, 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 do. Don't forget to hydrate. I'm not sure if Nightbot reminds you guys, but tea. Can warmly recommend. Yeah, obviously, warmly. um, but yeah, so we need a total of, you could say it's going to be like 5 rows, because it's going to be like this row I'm working on plus 3 more. And then you already have the row from the previous row, right? Which is going to be the straps of this market bag. So each of the straps is 75 stitches each. So that's 150. And then there is 56 crochet stitches between the straps, between each at both sides. So that's 112 plus 150. So there's a 262 stitches all the way around for one round. That is a fair bit, is what I'm realizing right now. Now we are almost all the way around to where I did my yarn change. So I'm just needing to pay a little attention that I don't do something that I wasn't supposed to be doing. But I do believe you're fine. And I'm going to sew those in the end I have here. I'm going to sew that one in later when I'm completely finished. So I'll have 3 ends to sew in because the other ends I've already sewn in on the go. And because I am using a smaller crochet hook than the yarn recommends, but that is what the pattern recommends. And the pattern is using the non-recycled yarn, but you know, both yarns are identical in the sense of yeah, the only difference between the yarn is if it's made from recycled denim or not, but they're the same weight, thickness, etc. But this one, it's just a little bit rougher on my hands compared to the other yarn. So in that sense, it's also one of the reasons I say I can feel it's a recycled denim. But I really like the fact it's a recycled one. You know, the idea that you can repurpose it somehow is nice. And I think I might have enough of this yarn also to make, I wanted to make like a bucket hat of this type of yarn, because I think that could be cool too. But that is not my high priority. I am happy that I've made this, the shopper, because now I've had the opportunity to work a bit with the yarn. And it does allow me to maybe easier make a review of the yarn. Can also see this yarn being fine for a regular bag. There are probably quicker bags to make than this particular pattern. That said, the net part went pretty smooth. That was pretty quick enough to make. It's more this single crochet around the edge and making the strap that takes time here. Which is not logically, because we calculated was 262 stitches on the all way around. So not completely logical that it takes its time to complete. But that's just what it's gonna be. I think it is so gorgeous weather outside that more people are spending their time outside than they are hanging around with us. Unless, of course, they grabbed their mobile device and took me with them. That is definitely an option. I do not know if we have any new watchers here, but if you are a new watcher and you haven't been here before, welcome. And I would say go grab something to drink, sit down, grab your project, and let's hang out. You know, I wish to have the function to say, here's a cup of coffee, or a cup of tea, but it's only going to be virtual coffee, I'm afraid, or virtual tea. But it could be really nice, like if one could have like a local yarn group and one could sit down and, you know, be social with them. It's just not, I don't know if it would happen in this area, maybe. I'm just not sure if I would fit in. I feel I'm probably a lot younger than them. And my problem is I don't know Dutch terms for crochet. I know English terms and I know a reasonable amount of Danish terms, but I am not very familiar with Dutch terms for crochet. And I guess I'm fine with that. So we are on the second strap. And that strap, my friends, is, as mentioned before, already going quicker than the first time around because it's already a bit easier due to, like, it sounds crazy, but I don't feel that chain stitches are stitches, even though they are stitches, but it's so difficult to work into the stitch of chain. And therefore, I've had a few projects where you had to chain X and then you had to work into the chain, into the foundation chain. And some of those I've just made a foundation stitch, either foundation double crochet or foundation single crochet and so on, depending on what needed, because sometimes that just seems so much easier. So I guess my next question to you guys is, do you prefer working directly into a foundation chain? Would you rather make a foundation double crochet, a single crochet, or half double, whatever it is, chain before you start your work? If you know that the first row you have to make is single, half double, double, just to take examples, into the chain. Susan says, hi, Michael, but it could be that Michael has popped off again. He was just shortly in here leaving his DNA, so to say, saying hello. So by the look, it takes me about an hour, half an hour to go half around through. So it's going to be like another an hour and a half, I guess, to finish this one. My goodness. I'm always a bit optimistic with the time requirements for doing things. I guess I thought we would be quicker. But that is not the reality. And you can see now you can really see how this works on my finger. This is like yarn finger. It doesn't look as bad. This doesn't look as bad when the yarn is over, but right now you can see how this just works into my finger. Oh my goodness. That is, my friends, why this yarn is rough on me. And I don't intentionally have this hard tension. It just happens automatically. Yeah. I don't intentionally do this tight tension. It just happens. It just happens. Hello, Jay. Good morning and welcome to this live. If you haven't done it yet, do grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and sit down. I know, it's scary. My attention is so scary tight. That was like a lot tighter than... So now I'm trying to slide the yarn a little bit more around to get different tension pressure points. But it's still gonna get tensed up. How on earth do I manage to do that? I think it's because of the smaller crochet hook compared to the recommended size. That is my best guess. Because if you take like a pattern like the summer shopper bag, which I've done quite a few of too, this yarn would fit perfectly in, but I would use a 5mm instead of a 4mm crochet hook. And I don't think my hand would be this crazy then. So I think a part of it is due to the smaller crochet hook size too. But yeah, that's kind of scared me how bad that was. No wonder I was like being, this is hurting my hands a bit. I don't think you need to do this tight tension. I think, for me, it just automatically happens. The pattern doesn't say, please use a tight tension. I guess that's something. So now you can really see the handles are starting to like kind of come along. So that's nice. That is nice. Have this left. Then we have round 1 of 4 done. Or I could say we then only have 3 rows left. And once those are gone, we should be finished. Mama Knows Best AK Gwen pops in and says, hello, beautiful humans. Well, hello, beautiful you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Grab a cup of something to drink and sit down and hang out. And it's good afternoon for me. It is almost 3 p.m. here. It is 2:53 p.m. to be more exact. So we've been here for a little bit less than an hour. And the goal is indeed still to finish this sunshine shopper bag before I am done today. And right now, I'm saying that we are also on a good path to do finish it during this live. Gwen says it's 7:56 a.m. at her time, or at her place, or 55. So yeah, 5 minutes to 8. So it is morning, and hopefully you will have a good spring day. Here the spring is definitely been nice the past week. And I'm not sure how the weather's going to be when I'm away, but I do know that I am going to Denmark and it is going to be raining next week. That does make me a bit sad. But that is just how it's going to be. Oh no, that was not the intention. That was... Wait a second. I have the feeling that was a slip stitch. So what I'm gonna do first is I am gonna put a line down for a round complete, and then we will start on the next. And then I'm just gonna slip stitch into this, and then we will do a single crochet into the stitch, and insert our stitch marker. So clear indication that this is where round begins. Gwen says, we had chilly rain showers yesterday. Thankfully the sun is out this morning and hopefully it will dry things up. I do hope so. Our gardens are loving the rain. Yeah, well, my garden would definitely also love some rain. There is zero doubt on that. It is dry. I just wish that when it rains, it would be in the night when we sleep. And then the sun is out in the day. But I'm afraid no matter how hard I wish for that, it is going to be wishful thinking. And it's not going to be reality. So we did less than half an hour, maybe 25 minutes on a round. And we have 3 to go. And I have 2 hours more before leaving you guys. So we should be able to finish this. And then we can work on the PuErhTea Shawl by Red Teapot Atelier. This shawl is, this is not a shawl, but this Sunshine Shopper Bag is designed by Drops Design. It is a free pattern. I have linked to the description box down below for those that are curious. And as I said, what I really like about this shopper bag is this bottom, and it has this sort of star-shaped bottom, which is pretty gorgeous on its own. I really like this. Makes me wonder if one somehow can creatively design it differently. But yeah, so the only thing is I did end up using more yarn than the pattern indicated that I would need. So it is, I was quite happy that I had bought extra yarn. Let's put it like this. Because the pattern said I needed 250 grams, which is 5 skeins, and I've used 5 skeins. This is the 6th. This is my 6th skein that I'm working on. So I'm quite happy I bought. I think I bought 8 or something like that. Not only for the bag, but I had some other projects I wanted to make too. And I still think I should have enough, even if I left with 2 plus some. That should theoretically be enough. I need to watch out my finger because it's kind of racking up again. I would have broken any tension guide. Actually, I think I might have a tension guide. I should have. Oh yeah, I do. Between all my stitch markers. Look, I do actually have a tension guide. But the thing is, I've never really felt convenient using them. It feels like I stretch my finger much more to keep the right tension, even though that is definitely not the case. But let's see if that is gonna be better for my finger in this case. But it feels, it's snacking. It's not as smooth as using my finger. But it's probably about me getting used to them. I'm not a big fan of tension guides. I have bought them over time just to see how they work out. And this one is working, but the yarn doesn't slide too easy in it, compared to what one could hope. And now I lose the hook out of the yarn more often than I did with the other one. So I'm not sold. But the reality is also that if I don't do this, I am not sure if we can finish this project today because my finger tells me it needs a break. So yeah, here we go with the tension guide. And we'll have to see how this goes. So far it is definitely a lot getting used to. We'll just take it step by step, stitch by stitch, stitch by stitch. See, there we went again. The third time that I used my loop on the hook. So I'll definitely blame the tension guide for this. Actually, I want to maybe see if, no, it should be narrower. So I can get it more like here on my finger and not so far back. But see, the tension guide is also leaving me. Yeah, this might work. We'll have to see. I am not sold. Are you a user of a tension guide, or you just thinking it's fancy puff? This is just me trying to alleviate the crazy tension on my finger. Which it does. But I feel a different kind of tiredness now with this on. So yeah, I don't know. I do not know. I don't think we have a long future together. The sense of we just have a little bit calmer once in a while. I once did a project with a very thin yarn, and I had the exact same. So the rule were that I just had to do 3 rows every day. Yeah, I'm going crazy. The rule were basically that I had to do 3 rows a day, and that was it. I could do more, but if I just devoted 3 minutes or 3 rows a day, which was about half an hour, then that was good. I remember that. That's like 2 years ago. Shawl looked gorgeous, but it was an absolute nightmare to work with the yarn. And I had a bit the feeling like in this autumn I made the Thoughts of Ireland shawl, which is also a drops design pattern. And that was in 100% alpaca, quite thin yarn. That also felt like ages. And it's not like I have an issue working up shawls and thin yarns. It's just some patterns are, I guess, more tedious to make. Um, anyhow, we are getting closer to the halfway point of this. So we have an estimation of 2 rounds and 2/3 of a round left, I guess. Maybe it's more like 3/5. Da, da, da. So that was round 2 of the first hank. That should go a bit quicker, so I just wonder if I could maybe, I think I'm gonna sit a bit differently just for my shoulder's sake. I'm gonna put you guys a little bit further up like this. Yeah, that is better, at least for now. Maybe a little bit more like that. And as said, don't forget to hydrate. So far, I've enjoyed the PuErhTea Shawl. So I don't think it's the last time I make that one. But I do, if that's the case, maybe want to make it in a different coloration. So this tension is better, but because I've already ruined my finger for today, it still looks like that I'm really rough to it. But it's the yarn. It's mainly the yarn that's rough to me. Da, 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 da. Another thing I can't believe is that we are almost, like, we are more than halfway through May already. Think about that for a minute. Time flies. Like, genuinely does. Now, in any case, this is going a bit quicker. And you can see how it's nicely lining up here on the sides of things. I am not sure if I'll finish it before in 50 minutes, but an hour and a half is definitely pretty sure. Probably a bit less. Do, do, do. And then I have some other yarns in my stash where I'm like, oh, I should do hats of these, and I should do that of these, and hats is my thing right now, and hats and bags and shawls. That said, I do have a nice little collection of yarn ends from when I've been weaving in ends. I'm collecting that for should I make an amigurumi I have filling. I do also have some of the polyfills, but yeah. So we are on the second strap in this round. Which means that we are definitely more than halfway. Oh, sorry for the yawn. I swear to you, half an hour before I went live, I was almost debating on grabbing a nap. Believe it or not. I almost felt it was nap time. I could have napped, for sure. Like closing my eyes and sleeping had been no issue at all. Did any of you notice this weekend that the Hobby Plus section were gone? It's been re-added, but this weekend there was none. Like, as it's never existed. They say, I'm yawning again. They say actually that you yawn is because you are not having enough oxygen to your brain and then you tend to start yawning. And maybe it's true because when you do yawn, I don't know if you noticed, but you actually start breathing in. Fun fact. A quite fun fact, I guess. Always feel free to ask if you have any questions or if there's any specific topics you want me to ramble on about. Be my guest to ask. Because I will be more than happy to tell you. went to see my physiotherapist this morning. I see him usually about every 4 weeks, but in 4 weeks' time, I'm again in Denmark. And I told him, so it has to be either in 3.5 weeks or in 5 weeks. And he looked at me and said, Stine, I think it's a good thing if we do it in 3.5, because I've seen how you are now, and I'm afraid in 5 weeks' time, you're gonna be a lot worse. And honestly, I'm afraid he's right. So that was a quite good point. I do think I have less tension on it. And look, this is how much we have left on this round. Well, my finger doesn't agree, but I have the feeling it's a bit looser now. That's how I work it. This is why this yarn is really brutal. If you like try to make amigurumi from it and you have a tight tension, cotton is like a nightmare to make amigurumis in, if that's the case. Then I'd much rather have a polyester yarn or acrylic cotton mix or something like that. So 28 or so stitches left and this round is complete. Da, da, da. You're all quite silent, just hanging out. Hopefully you're working on whatever project you're working on. But I am used to you guys being a bit more chatty. Have anyone seen Oddballs? She tends to be around, but I haven't seen her today yet. And you know what? After this round, we have 2 rounds left. Oh my goodness. That almost feels nice. Knowing it's just 2. Hallelujah. Round complete. Almost feels like victory. 2 rounds to go. But first we hydrate. Yep. Then we slip stitch into the first single crochet of the previous round. And we make a single crochet as well. I think I'll just actually make the one in the next stitch too, because then the first one is a little bit easier to poke on my stitch marker. So 2 more full rows of single crochets left, and then we're finished. which I think personally sounds pretty awesome. And of course, the goal here now is to try to be less tight in the tension. And then we will see. The good thing about finishing this one means that my 4mm here can go back to my fleur. Right now I've been sharing the hook between the two projects. To a certain extent, I've sometimes been thinking I should get a few extra of these. I really like the Clover Soft Touch hooks. They work nicely for me. Do you have any preferred hook brands? Or for that matter, do you have any preferred knitting needle brands? Because I am potentially going to be looking a bit. I am genuinely considering knitting needles, but I'm also just considering getting a random set. But at the same time, if there's a good brand, depending again, of course, what you want. It should be, if it comes as a set, it should go to at least 8mm. Because I do have some patterns requiring 8, so I like the ability to crank out the 8 or even bigger, but I could still then maybe use what I have. The reasoning is simple, and that is because I do like sometimes double strand yarns, and with that you risk needing a bigger needle, obviously. And it's not as simple as if you have 2 yarns and they are both recommending a 3, that you automatically need to use a 6. It still somewhat depends on yarn weight and yarn thickness and so on. For example, I have a single drops alpaca skein where I'm extremely much debating on just double stranding it with an acrylic, because I don't know what else I will be using that single skein for, and then knit a hat from it. That has definitely crossed my mind. In the beginning, I thought I could just do a white, and then it's like an olive greenish color. But now I'm debating I could also see if I could get a sage, olive green, whatever color acrylic instead. But yeah, at the same time, why would I? Because that would require me to buy yarn. Which is not what I want to do, because obviously I'm trying to use up my yarn in my stash. I already bought yarn this year, which I really need to use up, because my goal is to have more yarn used by the end of this year than I have obtained, so that overall my stash is smaller, even though it may not feel like it. I have a feeling it almost came with a knot here, so I need to pay attention. Mm. Do, 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 do. Just need to pull a bit of yarn once in a while. Yeah, we're still on the first of the straps. But this is the second last round on the strap. So one more round here and then you'll basically have it. A bunch of single crochets, which is quite typical for market bags, right? So it's definitely a market bag inspired design. It's really bad. I am really yawning today. I do apologize. Chipping along. It's definitely decreasing the yarn I have. Well, probably have like, I don't know, half a skein left, maybe? Ish. Which should be enough for the hat I want to make that also includes the other yarns I have. Should be. Theoretically. Optionally, we get some more yarn. Which totally speaks against the decrease concept, but well. There is that. Do, do, do. That was the second last round of the strap. So one more round left for the strap, but we still need to get all the way to the next strap, do the strap, and then half a round before being finished with this row. Any good series that you would recommend to watch? You know, I did my recommendation in the beginning of the stream, which is The Glass Dome, which is a series on Netflix. It is 6 episodes. and quite a good watch, I would say. It is classified, I do believe it's classified as a creamy or thriller. Let's see what it says. It should have a classification. That just says miniseries. Ugh. But it was quite good. And the reason also is because every time you thought you had figured it out, it wasn't. So it's just made really nicely, if that makes sense, right? I really like that. And I've spent some time binge watching Yellowstone, which I think is an awesome series. I also did that on Netflix. The only downside is that the last season, so season 5, isn't on Netflix, or isn't yet, maybe. So, I guess I am sort of pending for that one to come there. And we are getting closer and closer and closer, stitch by stitch. But as I said, so each round right now there are 262 stitches all the way around, so it does take a bit to go through all these single crochets. And we have started on the second strap in this row. So soon we have one row left, and then after that it's weaving in those 3 ends that should be there, and then we are complete. Now that is actually something I'm looking forward to. Maybe it's because it's gotten, you know, all these single crochets now. They are rather tedious. Would I make this one in the future? Maybe. If I do, I'd probably make it in a different yarn. Maybe I'll make it the real Paris, which is the pattern calls for. Maybe. But I think, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I think this is tedious right now. It's just single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. Same color, kind of boring. Then the Moroccan tea shawl does have more colors. And we will definitely reach to work on that. Maybe not a full hour. But 45 minutes sounds realistic. We will have to see. Tomorrow, yeah, I'll basically be working all day until in the middle of the afternoon. And then my mom-in-law will pick me up. Or probably I have to drive. I wouldn't be surprised. Because she is going for a checkup at the hospital. Back in February, we went, wasn't, it could have been January maybe, I don't even remember. January or February. We went for an appointment for her for the dermatologist to get her skin checked, and they did freeze away a little piece because they were concerned that it could develop into skin cancer. So basically, what we're gonna do is a checkup that it's still good and there is nothing to be seen that could potentially be malign. So we will be doing that tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, I need to try to get everything packed in advance. I'd kind of like to get some of that done tonight, so there is less for me to do tomorrow. And the reason, as I mentioned earlier, we are really getting up early. I'll probably have to drive from here at, I don't know, 5:30 in the morning. And I have to shower before then. But that's just how it's gonna be. Everything for your family. It is really rough to me. Maybe I should convince myself to use the guide ring just for a few rows. Or few rows, it's not going to happen, but for a few stitches. It is scary how tight my tension is. I am trying to crochet looser, but I have to say I am apparently not very good at it. So this strap is almost complete, and then it's just one row to go when we get there, which is kind of nice. Like 30 some odd stitches left on this row. Probably less now. 28 maybe. Once that is complete, it's just a row left, and yeah, so we are sort of sprinting for the victory. It is the last home stretch of the marathon. I wouldn't call it a marathon completely because the back haven't felt like a marathon compared to some shawls. Shawls really take hours, right? It's like 40 hours plus work. Where I'm inclined to believe this is less. um, I saw they actually have a market at the place of my parents. So if it is Dry on Friday, I might actually go and have a look to see what they have. But it's more like I'm not sure if it would make sense for me, because the thing is, if I would have to go there by car if that would even remotely make sense, because bringing all this in suitcases and checking it in, like, oh, there would be no room left for clothing. So, but I'm just curious what is there. But I do like the idea that they want to, in the summer, in that small city, want to host a market every week, Friday, um, for the summer period. I think it is really nice, also for the tourists. Now, I did get a bunch of extra yarn here. Oh my goodness, I am totally tangled up. Just a moment. That was better. So, we need two. Where did I get this? I got it from there. Like that. And then we'll work up that. Guess what, guys? Last round. Victory is coming in close. The last home stretch. Feels like a marathon. Well, half marathon. That's a single crochets. Tedious single crochets here. Do, 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 do. But as I said, we are on the home stretch. We have a bit less than half of a skein left. For those that's curious, let's see. Did I get enough into screen? I did. This is what's left on this game. So I'll definitely have some left, but I won't use up the full skein for this. But it's gonna be pretty darn close. And then we can argue if it's considered used skein or not. But let's look at that once. I usually say if I've left some 5 grams left, I'm considering it a used skein. And then after this, it's gonna be a bunch of hats, bucket hats, and the knit hat, which I'm so curious on how that's gonna turn out with the yarns I've found. Da, 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 da. So far, it's going a bit better with my tension guide, but I'm quite sure if I remove it from my finger, it's all not looking nice. It feels pretty. It could be worse, but you do see where it sits. But it kind of has to, because if it doesn't, it will like turn around on your finger, and then it's not worth anything either. Then it's not doing its job either. But I don't know. Maybe it is slowly time for me just to go back to my fingering tension. It's more to help me put less pressure on my finger in periods. In that sense, I'm happy I have it. And the fun thing is, when I'm knitting, I don't even have the same sort of tension as when I crochet. Ooh. So it seems like I do different tensions. And the fun thing is that when I do, yeah, what did I want to say? But yeah, I hold the yarn in the same way when I knit or when I crochet actually. So it's a bit funny that with crochet my tension do get tighter. Well, I think I might also be a tight knitter. I'm not sure. I've never knit swatched anything. And the single time I did crochet swatch something, I wouldn't exactly say it turned out amazing. Actually, I would say that once this one is done, this skein is probably complete too. Which is alright, because that is one more skein down. For those curious, it is currently here in the Netherlands 10 minutes to 4 p.m. So 15:50 or 3:50 p.m. Which means that we have about an hour and a bit to go. And before then, I'm definitely done with this. This is the last round on this strap. So after this, the strap is complete. We do have the ends here. We need to even. I've not forgotten, but I guess I kind of decided that, you know, I'll leave all of the ends in at the very end. Then we can argue if we should leave in ends here on the channel, or if we just, while I'm live, or if we just want to look at the finished project once complete and the yarn is cut. I'm slowly saying this, which means also, by the way, that we have almost used up a skein of yarn during this live. Awesome! So that is actually something that's a good thing. Woohoo! That is plus, 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 plus. I did take it off the yarn spindle because it was slowly not sitting that well. Da, 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 da. It is indeed a calm, calm life. But we are chipping along, and we are definitely, most definitely, coming closer towards the end here. Not completely halfway, but almost halfway through this last round. I'm actually surprised how much yarn this took, all these single crochets. But at the same time, I really shouldn't be with 262 stitches. Are you sometimes surprised about the yarn used? And that can both, by the way, be positive and negative. Because thinking about it, oh no, I have a split yarn. Moment. I need to redo a few stitches here. Because I did, you know, when I did the yarn at Rekital hats that I was knitting, that used a lot less yarn than I had anticipated. I had expected to be able to make exactly 2 hats from it, and I ended up making 3. That's it. The last one was double stranding, but still, and that was double stranding with another yarn. But yeah. So we are very close to starting on that second strap. And yeah, I am actually pretty happy this is the last row. It's also one of those mindless projects you can do in a car. And we did shortly put in over this road tripping vacation we wanted to do. And I'm like, yeah, if we do, I just need to make sure I have enough projects to bring with me along in the car because I'm not going to drive all the time. And when I'm not driving, I'll be probably to some extent be crocheting. I'll definitely be in the summer. So we are going by car to my parents also in July. And I will definitely bring something with me for the road. Though I think during the July when I'm there, then I won't have time because my partner's going to be there. And when we aren't with my parents, we're probably going to do something on our own and just enjoy ourselves. So I'll just have something for in the car, if that makes sense. And then maybe if you know, like if you have half an hour and you're bored, but I'm not expecting to have time to do a lot more than just that. We will have to see. We will have to see. This is going smooth. Smoothie, smoothie. Actually, I'd say this is complete. Won't you? Like, there's so little yarn left. I think that I could say that I definitely used another skein. That is an approved used skein right there, I would say. There's so little left. But we will see. I'm not completely there yet. I still have 2/3. Oh no, like this much to go. I don't even know if it's watchable on the whole screen, but in worst case, I do have an extra skein laying over here should I need it, but I think that it's not going to be needed, but I do think the skein is almost finished. Wouldn't you say? Da, 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 da. And then, my friends, it's going to be time to weave in ends in a few minutes. Unless we'll just say, Stina can weave in those ends off camera, which would be absolutely fine. I'll be fine with that. And we'll just jump straight on to the PuErhTea Shawl. But I am happy that we just did sit down and do this together because, you know, then it's finished. One more down. And I think it's something everybody has. It gives this sort of fulfillment feeling fulfilled, feeling accomplished when you finish projects. So that is nice. And I'll be absolutely fine with weaving in these ends, sewing in these ends off camera. That said, I'll probably then first do it after dinner. But I'll be absolutely fine with that. It should be okay. We have been around for a bit more than 2 hours now. It is 4 p.m. And yeah, I'd say it's complete. Skein done. This tiny, tiny scrap, which I will add, but I think we can consider that skein as complete. That's fair enough. Because there's really so little left on the skein. I would definitely consider that finished. And I am not gonna do a round of slip stitches and whatnot. Nope, nope, nope. It is just finished. If I caught this correct. I will have to double check with the pattern, but I'm quite sure when we get over here that we are finished and I can cut the yarn. Which means that we did finish this back on this knife. Oh. And that I am pretty happy with. So, done. Let's see. What did I say? Round 5, finish with the slip stitch in the first single crochet, cut, unfasten the strand, repeat. Oh my goodness. Did I do something wrong in any case? Work one single crochet in each of the... To finish, blah, 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 cut and fasten after the last round. To finish, work one round on the inside of the bag by starting in the middle of the 28 stitches at the bottom of the strap. Work one single crochet in each of the 14 single crochets. Huh? And one single crochet in each of the 75 stitches on the strap. Finish with one slip stitch in the first. Okay, so what they do want to do actually, but I'm not so sure if that's needed. So what they say, feel free to come with input. I feel pretty done. What they do say, let's see if I can actually explain this well enough. They say that we need to work around here in the middle, around, but looking at this, oh my goodness. But I really want to work in stitches in this. That is going to be one tight hell of a squeeze. I'd rather not. I'd rather not. But according to this, I should work one round more here in the center. I'm already using more than enough yarn. I do not know. Maybe I'll... I need to think. I do apologize. Good morning, Renee. Good morning to you. I hope you are having a wonderful Monday morning. It is Monday afternoon here in the Netherlands. And where is my scissors when I need them? I thought I had put them in here, but I haven't, I think. Nope. They're here. They're here. So regardless, I still need to cut the yarn and weave in the ends. So that is what we'll do. I would say this skein is done and dusted. So the real question is, if we want to add that here, which we probably should, looking at this. Because you would want to then do single crochets around to kind of tighten it up a bit. It's a kind of a market bag, yeah, definitely. Let's see, I need to remove this stitch marker because that has no purpose more. It is a sort of a market bag. It's a summer sunshine market bag. And what I really like about this is the bottom. It's such a gorgeous piece. I really like this star flower shaped thing. It's gorgeous. But according to this, I do need to, well, I need to weave in some ends, but basically what it says, the pattern, is that I need to start here somewhere in the center, and then I need to do single crochets all the way around. And that's it. Then we're done. A part of me really say, yeah, I should do that. And a part of me is really not in the mood to do that. I don't know. I do not know. Because then we'll go from here to up here. So it would kind of collect the side a bit. I do think maybe strength-wise in here, it would be better to do that. But before we can even consider doing that, I will still need to weave in ends. So let's find the darning needle. Not the thick one, the medium one should be fine. I have 3 ends to weave in. I have here at the very, very end. So we'll start by that one. And removing those stitch markers. And then we'll thread the darning needle. And then we will weave in that end. Ta ta ta. Ta 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 ta. I really like this method because it's kind of closing up as a stitch. Then on the inside we will, I guess, find a place to do the rest. But this looks nice. Goody goody, I am happy so far. But then we need to find a place where we can easily do that. And that is probably gonna be, I don't know if there's a difference. Not really. Now we have entered my sewing skills. What can I tell you about my sewing skills? When I weave in ends, they tend to never come undone because I weave them in such a way that they are a nightmare to unravel. Which I believe is a positive thing. Hello, Sarah. Good morning to you, my lady. Hope you're doing well. Wonderful to see you. It's been quite silent the last hour-ish. Most people are just, hanging out. I guess working on their crochet piece or knitting piece. That may be. Where meanwhile, I have almost finished this market bag. And I will say that I do like the end result, but I'm not sure. I thought it was finished, but I'm not, because I need to do the in between here piece. That sucks. I thought it was finished. Sarah says, I saw you started the new PuErhTea Shawl. I saw it on the same color of Carnival line that I just got from Hobby. It's gorgeous. I wish I could make it. Well, you can make it. It's just about making it. Don't think you can't. I know you can. You can make it. It's not that difficult. It looks a lot more intimidating than it is. It's quite easy, actually. I think. I wouldn't call it beginner. I wouldn't call it beginner friendly, but it's. I think you're experienced enough to do it. Let's see. What do we do with this one, my friend? Oh my goodness. Oh, won't come undone on my darning needle. Mm-mm-mm. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I definitely have had to tight tension. You know that when you can almost not sew. It is an awesome bag. I think it is super awesome, to be honest. It's just not finished because I still miss the. And I think I'm afraid I have to admit, I think it is wise to do it in here too, because it's double crochets and well, it could probably work without, to be honest. But it maybe just makes it a more finished look because of the less thick piece here. I don't know. The pattern says I need to do a row of single crochets in there, so I guess I better do that. It just wasn't what I had planned for. And, you know, it would have been awesome if I had been finished, because that would have been the yarn I had left. But I think I need to open up the next skein, which means that that will mean that I am using way more yarn than, because it says I need 5 skeins to make it, and I've used 6. This is what left on my 6th skein. So I'm inclined to say that this pattern didn't meet its whatever you want to say, but it feels like it's not matching the yeah, which is not an issue. It just means that I don't have enough yarn for the other project I calculated for. So if I want to finish up all of the skeins I have in this yarn, I will have to buy new yarn at some stage, which I guess is okay. It's a nice excuse for getting new yarn. But the thing is, and that is really going to be the thing here, I think that these stitches where I'm supposed to be working in, they are tight. They are tight, which means that it's going to really, really suck to do. So yeah, I don't know if I should or shouldn't. But if I do, there isn't enough to go all the way around here. So that I'm just gonna keep for something else, I think, because, well, so we could do just regular one for a minute. Let's pop back up and say hello to my beautiful face. And jump back here. I do apologize for a little bit darker screen, but that is how we're looking without the extra row of single crochets. So the pattern does call for you to, on the inside here and around on the inside, to do a row of one row of single crochets in each handle. Yeah. Should I? Is a big question. I do have one more skein, as I said, I did. So it is possible. I just then won't have the skeins for the other project I planned, which is okay, but then I'll just, when I get there, need to buy new yarn. So that is the big question. Should I or should I not? It's actually a quite big market bag looking at it. But should I or should I not add that extra row on the center? Kinda should, shouldn't I? It would somehow make it more wholesome because, you know, you have all these extra rounds here, but you have nothing here. I really should. I really should. But I'm not really in the mood to do that now. I'm really not in the mood to do that now. Damn. But I think it would be clever to do, because it would also strengthen the join here. on the inside because of the single crochets, fundamentally compared to the double crochet join there. So yes, I should, but I'm not in the mood to do that now. So I hope not to disappoint you further, but we are almost finished. And I really love this bottom piece. This is what makes it so nice and gorgeous. Love it. But yeah, I really should add this extra row. So I will definitely be doing that, but I'm not going to do that now. That's my final decision because I'm just not in the mood. My fingers are wrecked. So that is not going to be today, or maybe later today. I don't know. Kind of depends. A few other things to do today, which I would probably consider more important. And I should have enough time to do those 2 rows before my next yarn talk video in a week and a half's time. So that would be okay. That would be okay. So let's get this darning needle away. Oh, I should have not packed all that like that, but it's okay. It's done. Let's find the PuErhTea project crate. Crochet hook. Shawl. And yarn. As you can see, we are getting closer and closer to the pure mustard colors. We are still only having 1 strand of the mustard and 2 strands of the sage green. For those curious, since last time, this is our current status. It's not as flowy yet, but it will help once blocked. And what I should do then is actually to jump back to the double screen and pop you guys down on the table so you can see what I'll be doing. And I will have to find the pattern because I, for the love of my life, do not remember what row I am on before I see the pattern. 20 some odd. Maybe. I've had the PuErhTea waiting to be made, I see, in my stations. 2023, the pattern has been sitting and waiting on me. Let's see. 16, 17 I've done, 18 I've done. 19, 20, let's see, we are 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Victorian, I've done the first row, which is basically this. So I need to start on row 25. Row 25. And it is a Stanley Muffin Mini Lux Cake, which is basically 3 strands of 100% acrylic and 1 strand of lurex. So the total composition is 90% acrylic, 10% lurex. It is 250 grams skein originally. So 8.8 ounces to 1,000 meter or 1,093 yards for those that's wanting them in yards. And this yarn I do need to pay a little bit attention to so we do not split. So I start 25th row by chaining 4 because that is counting as a treble crochet. And then we'll turn the work around and we have to work in 2 double crochets in the first stitch. Oh my goodness, this feels so light to work with compared to what I've just worked with. It's like a pleasure compared to be honest. And then we'll do a single crochet in the following stitch. stitch, and then we need to do a bunch of double crochets in this gap we have here in the first gap, and that is 9 double crochets they want us to work in there. I'm just checking that it is indeed double, because I had ones where it was trebles, but I do believe it's doubles. Single slip into the, yeah, we did that. 9 double crochets into the next chain 6 space. Okay, 9 double crochets. I can do that for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. What I tend to do is just to double check that I actually did them all. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I did. Good. Then in the next chain space, we will single crochet around the chain space. And then we do 4 chains and single crochet to the following, etc. So we'll kind of like skip every curve here. Renee says, gotta run to get some housework done before I crochet some more. 90% crochet and 10% housework a day. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I don't blame you. I wish you good luck with the housework. My housework tends to get down prioritized for my crochet, to be honest. 2, 3, 4. And I'm totally honest in admitting that, because it's just a fact. But I think it is valid. I do have to work next to this, so I can't all just crochet. I wish I could, but I haven't earned enough money to just do only crochet or knit or whatever in my life. Not yet. So until then, I will have to accept the fact that I am a slave of regular labor. Corporate girl, one could almost say, but I'm a corporate girl from home. So if I count this correct, I need to have 5 of these gaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did. Then we have a next chain 6 gap. All the others were chain 4 gaps. So we have another chain 6 gap, and there we need to do another 9 double crochets. So we can do that. So that is what we will do. That said, my newest job is the job that I have does allow for me to have some flexibility in life, which I really enjoy. So I also need to do my very utmost best to make sure that they want to keep me on in the job. Because it is really a good job compared to workload and the flexibility I get from them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I think I have 9. Wait a minute. Yeah, 2, 6, 8, 9. I did indeed. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so I'm a little bit annoyed about about the market bag part, that that it's using more yarn than the pattern indicates that you need. But that's okay. I luckily do have enough yarn to do it. But it does mean that For the other project I had in mind, I will need to buy new yarn. I just got an excuse to buy yarn. Hallelujah. I shall not complain. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. And the single crochet, 2, 3, 4 chains, and a single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is reasonably easy, right? See, Sarah, you can do this. It's easy. And you both have, so what I really love about the designs from Red Teapot Atelier, or Ines, is the fact that she does both the written patterns and she does diagrams. So, you know, there's the option to do both depending on what you prefer. I do a bit of both, to be honest. I both read the pattern, but I also do the diagrams, if that makes any sense. Because sometimes it's easier to read the pattern to get a specific count. But the diagrams just tell me what stitches they are. And that is international language, luckily. They are also written in US English terms. So no need to worry about crochet types. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay, so we are now getting to the center. We need to do a single crochet in this double crochet stitch like that, and then we need to chain one, and then we need to do a single crochet in the space, chain two, and another single crochet in that space. Then we'll probably have to chain one and then a single crochet in that double crochet. Then I just need to get some more yarn from this cake out, and we will go here where we'll work in the 9 double crochets, and that was pretty much the tip of things. Like that. If I'm counting right, I should have 9 again here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and I do. So then we'll do single crochet around this next chain space. We'll chain 4 and jump to the next. 2, 3, 4. We jump on to the next. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had the yarn split on me. Normally this doesn't split a lot on me actually, but I do need to watch a little bit. 2, 4. And then we have a bigger space, so that should fit that we have 5 of these. 2, 4, 5 we do. So it's time for 9 double crochets again. 1, 2, just getting some more yarn for us to work with. I have also the feeling, by the way, that we should change where we have like 2 mustard yellows and 1 sage quite soon. We should have a color change coming up. Is the feeling I have, but I haven't seen him yet. Two, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yep. And then we'll chain 4 and single crochet in each of those space gaps until we reach the chain 6. And I think it's first over here. Yeah, there's one more left. 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be 5 again here. 2, 4, 5. There is. We need to do a new 9 double crochets. As you can see, I'm doing the center pull from this cake. And due to how the cake is, it's just easier to have it laying on the side. It's just the nature of this cake. I am curious how that's going to work when we get a bit later on and the yarn may collapse, but we will take that problem when it comes. If it was a project where I could have put it on the yarn spindle just from an outside pull, I definitely would have put it on the yarn spindle, but it's not possible when you do the inside pull, center pull. They do have center pull tabs, which is really nice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look at this, which is also a bit sort of partially loose, and that's 2 strands of sage still. So I wonder when that comes. 2, 4. I don't even know if you can see that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you can just see it on the screen. I see. So for dinner here today, for those that's curious, we are gonna do Wiener Schnitzel with potatoes and broccoli on the side. Oh, I shouldn't have chained 4 here. I should just have been ready to do the double crochets. Oopsie, I was one too quick. Which means I should have done 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have. So that is what I'll be doing in like 20 minutes. I'll be ending here because I'll need to go peel potatoes. Two, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Awesome. Then up here in the second last stitch, we'll do a single crochet. Then in the last stitch, we need to do 2 doubles and a treble. And then that was a row 25 complete. Bada boom. Then we gotta read for row 26. I'll have to say, I'm not sure I can finish row 26 during this live, but we'll see what it says. Jolly-o, jolly-o, jolly-o. We will need to chain 4 as replacing of a treble. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn the work around, and then we'll have to work in 2 double crochets in that first stitch, and then we'll do another single crochet in the second stitch, and I'm just gonna flip this work around. That's so much easier. And then, my friends, we are, if I'm seeing this correct, 1, 2, 4, 8. So we will have to work in a double crochet in each of the double crochet stitches before, but between the double crochets we will have to chain 1. So it's like double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. So there will be 9 double crochets and 8 chains. So that should be this one. That will fan it out a bit. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah, that is the right one. So that is basically now just chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, until this fanish thingy is complete. And then I think by the looks it's like the previous rows, where you single crochet around the chain gap, and then you'll chain 4 and make new chain gaps, if that makes sense. So if I counted correctly, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Awesome. And then, and this first chain gap coming straight after, we'll just move straight over and make a single crochet. Then we'll chain 4 and do a single crochet in the next gap, and that will do. So we have 4 chain spaces of chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is now when we'll restart on our double crochets, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, etc. There it was, that funky piece. So yeah, this is row 26 for those that's curious. Yeah, we need one more. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Correct. I just like to double check. One of the reasons for that is that prevents me with, if I count correctly, that is, to have to frog later. Then there is more likelihood that I skip frogging. None of us want to frog. It feels like anything but progressive. It feels like you're taking steps backwards when you're frogging. I am though curious how this one is gonna look once it's finished and blocked in this yarn, because it is the first time that I'm working with this yarn. My biggest challenge is when it's a little bit warm, or when I have a little bit warm hands, the Lurex thread tends to snag a little bit on my hand. And it looks a lot worse than my finger is, but that's because of the cotton we did earlier. My fingers are still suffering from it because I don't feel this yarn in the same way at the slightest. It's just the cotton being really rough on me. And also, I guess, the smaller hook according to the pattern and so on. This is it's a much different flow in the yarn. Two, 4, 6, 8, 9. Perfect. It is a match again. And I do apologize if you hear my stomach in the background. It's telling me that it is getting closer to dinner time, because it is 10 minutes to 5 here. And looking at the pace I'm currently putting at bay here, I think I will be able to finish this round. And then that's the last thing I'll do today. 2, 3, 4. And I'm fine with that. I still make good progress. A part of me is kind of sad that we didn't finish the marker bag, but at the same time, my hands were wrecked enough to say, nope, 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 no more recycled cotton for you, lady, right now. So it's all right, if that makes sense. So that was good that I stopped, for I had forgotten my chain, which I fixed before I had to frog. Hallelujah. Let's see. Yeah, we are still going strong. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Good. What are we doing in the center? We are back to the single crochet in that double crochet of the previous row, like that. Chain 1, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the same space, chain 1, single crochet in the double crochet, like that. Then, my friends, we have just the last row to go, or the last half. to go here. So the last half of row 26. Let's count for a second. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. But I am missing the chain here. I went just a little bit too fast, but it's just a single chain. So we only had to frock one stitch. So that looks much, much nicer. Single crochet in that space. 2, 3, 4. Single crochet in the next space, and then we'll grab some more yarn. I can feel, because when I need to pull that automatically, it's not going as smooth. That's the benefit of the yarn spindle. It just automatically go on when you do a little jiggle in it. So we'll do the double crochet, chain, etc. for the 9 double crochets. I'm still kind of surprised I haven't seen a color change yet. Last time we did color change was, I believe, last week, Wednesday during the live. Da, da, da. There was one more, so we should have them all. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We do have them all. Two, three, four. That was only 3, 4. But as you can see, I need to pay a little bit more attention here because the yarn sometimes do want to split on me. Or that I don't catch all the yarn strands, so to say, because they are loose strands. One could option for a little bead around. Personally, I prefer not to because mostly it's not an issue. It's just once in a while that when it goes just too quickly, then I need to be a little bit alert. And usually then it's the lyrics thread that does funky for me. Oopsie daisy. Let's try again. One more. We're almost to the end. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We are on the home stretch now. We are single crochet and then the 4 chain spaces we have to make before that very last fan piece. That's it for this row. 3 of 4. I'm actually kind of surprised that we're almost here. Ooh, of course. Sarah says, currently waiting a response if I can buy the PuErhTea Shawl with his card. I assume you're talking about your partner's card. But it's a gorgeous shawl. Just tell him, you know, it's a replacement for a time he buys flowers or something like that. That works. I joked with my partner last night about that we complimented one so well another because he made the money and I would spend them. He just looked at me and laughed. That's not completely true because I do make my own money and I spend my own money. I do help him spend his. That's not an issue, but at least that has nothing to do with my yarn whatsoever. Not. But we definitely laughed about it. What you could also option for, Sarah, if is then I would actually almost recommend you to do a 1 month subscription to Hobby. It's only $7, right? He'll let me for sure. He doesn't mind buying me copious amounts of yarn because I go through it a bit and it's therapeutic. Yes. So Sarah, what I would do if you want to like get most bang for your buck, which we all do because hey, we are like it's just a reality. Money flies away quite quickly, right? And we'd rather like to buy that extra yarn for the extra. But if you want to get most bang for your buck, I would recommend you to go to hobby.com and get their Hobby Plus subscription. I think that's $10, maybe 12, but it should be 10. It's 10 euros, like $9.99. So it might be like $10, $10 or $12. But a Hobby Plus subscription gives you the ability to download 3 patterns, 3+ patterns. And all of Red Teapot Atelier patterns are these plus patterns. So you can get 3 patterns for the same price. Ooh, sweetie, sweet. But if he's okay with you spending like $3 extra, you could get 3 patterns for the same, like instead of like buying. So don't buy one pattern for $7, but buy the Hobby Plus and download 3 pattern for 10. Does that make sense? So you get basically 1.5 pattern for free. Hobby.com, Hobby Plus subscription. Plus you get some free hobby points for that week. You only need to make sure that once you have like selected your 3 patterns, and that could be any of Hobby's paid patterns, then you cancel your subscription afterwards because you don't need them or you got your free patterns. And then next time you feel like getting some free patterns, you can always get a new subscription when you get there. You get 100 points as well for the point store on top of it. If you do have some from Hobby, I don't know. So that's what I would recommend. That's how I got mine. That's how I discounted mine, so to say. Else, if not, then I'll get it on Ravelry. Go to her Ravelry site and buy them there because that's probably cheaper than Hobby. You might want him to approve the the $3 extra, but honestly, he'll probably be fine with that too. If he's fine with the 7, that is. As long as he doesn't feel you to grab the whole hand after he offered you the little finger. Row finished. And generally this is such an easy pattern. There's there's a few puff stitches I see in the next row, but most of it is so far it's smooth. Sarah says, just spent a bunch of my points and I still have like 7 or 8,000. I have many thousand, actually. Boom, boom. I think. Scary many. Point store. Let's see what it says. I have like 29,000 each. Jay says, I just got my first paid pattern and it's the Jasmine Tea Blanket, which is also gorgeous. Absolutely. It's just a lot of puff stitches. If you're not into the puff stitches, also, so the Ceylon Tea Shawl is gorgeous. The Die Yiling is also a nice pattern. Jasmine is a nice pattern. She has so many nice patterns. But if I look at how they work up right now, I definitely would say that the PuErhTea so far has been the easiest of them, I think. So we did 2 rows. Let's see if I can actually put all this on camera without wrecking it completely. Ta-ta! This is what we reached to do. 2 rows on this. Nice. But yeah, she makes absolutely gorgeous designs. Like, so gorgeous. Let's see, we need to pop back up here. And probably need to go a little bit brighter because that was dark. But that's because of how the light comes, and if I use both cameras, it needs to be adjusted for lights. I didn't change color yet, which surprised me. Right, when you look at this, I'm surprised there's still 2 strands of the sage. I got hung up on row 7 or 8 of the Dahlia tea shawl. I'm off by 1 or 2 in the same spot every time I attempted it so far. I just got frustrated and put it away. You mean the Die Yiling? I haven't heard of the Dahlia, but I think the PuErhTea flows really nicely. At least I haven't completed the whole pattern yet, but until row 26, it flows really nicely. But yes, the Die Yiling tea shawl, I noticed there's a place where I ended up adding an extra stitch at both sides to make it fit. I just like, so one count, like there is something with the pattern, I don't remember it. I would need to recount it somewhere. Tea time colors, yeah, definitely. Don't worry about that. But yeah, so I just don't remember. I don't remember where in the pattern was, but there is a place in the pattern where I was like, okay, that's not gonna add up, and then I kind of winged it and it worked out fine. So I think there's a typo in the pattern for a number somewhere. I think there's actually, I think there was one of the first rows of this as well, but I think it was just more, it wasn't completely clear. She is though very good at like if you have questions for her patterns, you can reach out to her at Instagram. She's usually quite responsive. I'll also be happy to answer questions if, you know, like if I have an idea, I'll be more than happy. yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today because it is 5 p.m. here and unfortunately I need to go. I need to cook some dinner, prepare for some dinner, peel some potatoes because it is a potato-y day. It flows really nice and well. Just definitely the jasmine tea blanket. Yeah, it just have so many puff stitches. I remember that full row, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And I had multiple rows, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, all these puff stitches." It looks nice, but I hate doing them. Um, Thank you, Susan. Susan says, "Have a nice evening." I'm saying thank you very much for anybody who is rewatching this live and gotten this far. Thank you so much for watching. I'm very happy for you. Support. So I'm going to say, yeah, thank you. We make great progress. Almost finished the market bag. My fingers just kind of gave up. Um, did 2 rows on the shawl. I'm going to say, take care and happy crafting. I will not see you more this week, but you will see me on Friday. We are visiting a couple of stores, and then next week Friday I'll be back with a yarn talk video, and all the way until then I'm afraid I'll be silent, but I will be enjoying my time in Denmark and I will be busy. So, yeah, until then, take care. Love you all. Bye.